What's up, everybody? Man, we got a beautiful day. I'm going to drag the car out and get it off the blocks, try to organize the garage a little bit. We got shit everywhere, but we've been busy working. Come on, let's go take a look at it. There she is, the Black Widow. You may notice there's some new wheels on there. I got me some turbines. I ran across a deal on Marketplace. There's my old ponies for 5 turbines, and 4 of them had some practically brand new tires on them. So I just couldn't turn that down for the money to get us started, you know, because down the road we may do different wheels and do 5-lug and all that fun stuff. But right now we got turbines with good tires. I just went and put some new lug nuts on them last night and kind of did a little poor man's hubcap. Spray painted the hub there and then put some chrome lug nuts on. There you go. But anyway, you may notice I actually bolted fenders on the side there. We got a couple little leaks we got to take care of. I've got a coolant leak, and I just now found out I have got a little bit of a fuel leak. I think it's coming from right there. So I'm going to get some wrenches here in a minute and tighten those fittings up. See if that's it. I got the hood out of the Ioniq and the nose cap. Took the header panel out of the nose cap, which wasn't too hard considering it's got a bunch of rivets that hold it on. There wasn't a single rivet that wasn't broken, so it came right out. But I've noticed that I've got a crack on the end, you know, and it's kind of right there where a couple of the bolts go for bolting to the fenders. So I think I may try to repair that somehow. Got the old headlights here that I can't figure out how to mate up to anything. I don't have anything that fits on here. Our wiring harness, that doesn't fit. I ordered in these things from Elmar thinking that was going to be the magic bullet. It wasn't. So I also got a 3-piece headlight set, which is really cool. The only thing I don't like, these corner markers with that round reflector. Oh my gosh. I really, I don't know. I don't like that. But for now, at least I'll eventually have something that I can hook up and maybe drive this car one day. But like I said, everything's a wreck in the garage. I've got crap's just out everywhere. I want to clean the floor up underneath here where the murder scene took place. You know, I don't know. I just got to straighten my world up a little bit. My poor old brain's just chaotic enough as it is without the disorganization. All right, me and Ben started cleaning out the garage. We done pretty good here. We got the car out of the garage and getting ready to kind of clean the floor up a little bit, but kind of start doing a little bit of organizing on all the crap laying around here. But I don't know. The car's out in the driveway, and I'm feeling like we need to go out and do a cold start or something. Yeah, I think we should. What about that?
We're good.
Dang, it sounds good, doesn't it? I think it sounds really good. I still got a fuel leak down here though. Try to tighten on that some more somehow. I kind of dig the turbines on there. I mean, that's such a classic Mustang wheel anyway. So that's cool. We can rock the turbines for a little while. Put those new lug nuts on there. I had some fun with one of those lug nuts right there. It got buried. Those wheels kind of have like a deep hole. And a short lug nut kind of vanishes off in there to where only the very tippy top of the lug nut was exposed. That one rounded off on me, and you can see that we had a battle. I had to get medieval with its ass with a pair of pliers and a blowtorch. Actually, I had to use a hammer and chisel and some punch, and I did use the blowtorch. We won. The lug nut set we got came with like some little block nuts. I didn't put them on there, but I got them right here in this nut sack, and there's a tool for them too. We may end up putting them on once we get everything done, but right now I don't want to fool with it. I'll just keep my nut sack in there. All right, man, we had a beautiful day here and got the shop cleaned back up. I can see my workbench again. We mopped the floor. I purple powered the floor, got all the greasy grime off of it. Man, it looks great. You could eat off this floor. I don't recommend it, but you could. Got the old Mustang part back in here. And man, Ben's been helping me today a bit. It looks like he's got some things on his mind. I think we're gonna have to stop right here and go play some disc golf. We'll be back out at it here later. All right, I'm back out here working on the Mustang, like always, right? So I kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit about what I'm dealing with. So the water pump, it just keeps seeping everywhere. And of course the back plate of that water pump, that metal plate, it's got like this gasket that goes around between the water pump and the back plate of the water pump. And I don't think that gasket is working. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to pull the water pump back off the car and, I don't know, go exchange it or maybe put some silicone on it. I don't know. I hadn't really figured out exactly what I'm going to do. I'm probably just going to look at it a little closer when I get it off. All right, you can see the drip right there. There's a drip hanging right there. And if you just look at all around it, it's leaking. I can't get it to quit leaking. Did have a little fuel leak, and got on a couple of the fittings with some wrenches, and that took care of that. The power steering rack is leaking, and I think the only resolution for that is probably just get another one. The power steering rack seems to be kind of leaking from right in there. I don't know. You can see that. I mean, the whole thing, you can see it's been leaking. It was leaking before I ever got the car. And it's doing the same thing on the other side over there. Let's see how greasy it is underneath it. And it looks like it's leaking right from that little hose area right there. I did have a little leak in the power steering pump. And it looks like it is still leaking. I think I don't know, it's like the housing is cracked or seeping or something. Oh, hey. We're draining the radiator. So I guess I'm getting ready to debelt the front of the car and start undoing whatever I got to take this water pump off of here. That's what we're doing right now. That's where we're at. All right. Belt's off. Man, I hate having to take things back apart. There's one bolt out. Taking it back apart. What do we do with this thing? Probably could just hang it off of one of these bolts for a minute. And just like that, magically, boom, the water pump's off. We had to toss a little more blue paint on the new water pump. So the water pump comes with this paper gasket that goes between it and the timing chain cover. It also has this paper gasket between the back plate of the water pump. And I think that was my problem. I think that right there, that paper gasket just seeped that coolant and was just leaking. So I got me a Fel-Pro gasket for behind the plate of the water pump and another Fel-Pro for the water pump to the timing chain cover. All right, so I think I've got everything prepped and ready to try to get this water pump on and sealed up, and hopefully won't have any more of a coolant leak. I've cleaned all the old gasket off of there. I have taken brake cleaner and cleaned the mating surface, so we're ready to go down there. I've done the same thing on the back side of the water pump. I
went ahead and took the plate off since we're going to use this Fel-Pro gasket instead of the one that was on the pump. And I think I'm going to use a little bit of sealant to seal all that up. I got actual water pump and thermostat sealant, and then I've got some high temp thread sealant for the bolts. Got my tools set up, got my bolts set up. I went ahead and, just so I wouldn't be trying to figure it out as I went, I printed out a little sheet and I've got the bolts laid out so I know where they go, you know, once I do get the pump onto the car. So I need to tighten those two bolts. I think I'm going to just drop a few of these in just to make sure everything's lined up good.
Well, I know good and well that most of y'all have the same silly looks on your faces whenever you get your box from LMR. I love it. It's like Christmas morning.
All right, I got some stuff from LMR this morning. We did get the water pump all back on, everything back together. I let it set for a day or so before I poured antifreeze back in it, kind of let everything, you know, set up. I did start the car up on Sunday, let it warm up, and I don't see any coolant leaks anymore from the water pump. So I think we may have got that leak resolved. We had tightened up that fuel line, so and that leak seems to be gone. The power steering pump, this thing, every time you turn it on, it's leaking from over here somewhere. I don't know. I've tried to tighten this up, but it's still leaking. And of course our rack down there still leaking. Getting ready to probably put the bumper stuff back on. I pulled out the hood hinges and a couple of these little things that I need to pull this fender back off and look at getting on. Header panel. The header panel had some cracks in it. It had several cracks. I've got one I'm still working on over here. I hadn't finished it yet. I got all the bolts epoxied back into place, and the places where the header panel was cracked here, I took this material and epoxy, and I got it soaked in epoxy and wrapped around each side of it. And it's done a pretty good job. I think it's pretty sturdy. It was cracked right there too. And the cracks basically ran all the way across right there on both sides. And then the end down here was the worst. So I started off trying to use this, and it kind of did all right. This and some epoxy. But I really think this material right here does the best job, because that epoxy just soaks into it. And then once it hardens really good. I was brushing it on, and when my brushes came apart, that's what all those black hairs are. But that material is this right here. And this came out of a crack isolation kit, like you do, like concrete floors. If you're going to put tile down and it's got a crack, you use this material and then like this latex sealant, and you basically put that over the top of the crack, and it keeps the crack from coming through the top of the ceramic tile. That and some good old JB Weld epoxy
5-minute epoxy. I think it may have saved me 150 bucks because you can order a new header panel for 150. 150. But that's where we're at right now. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to kind of finish up this one end on this thing. We're trying to get everything ready to where we can kind of put the nose of the car back together is what I'm working towards. All right, me and Ben's been out here playing in the garage this afternoon. We mocked up the front of the car. Hood's just sitting there. The nose piece is just sitting there. And we kind of stuck the lights in, and this is one of those the Cobra inserts. So I had cut out the bumper cover already and stuck the Cobra insert in there. So I think this evening I'm going to pull the gauge cluster out and try to see if I can figure out anything on that oil pressure gauge and stuff, and see why it's not working. It's just kind of neat seeing what the front of the car is going to look like. Of course, there'll be fog lights down there. Eventually, I'll paint everything. We may just matte black the hood until we do paint the whole car. Ben said we were just sand it down and find this orange underneath there and that pinstripe and see what that's all about. What do you think? You gonna sand it down? I'll pull the hood out and you can sand it.
Not tonight.
Not tonight. All right. Set the headlights in there. I got these headlights just because it was cheaper than buying new ones. I got them on Marketplace. But I don't like this like round reflector in there. I don't know. You know, I'll use them for a while until I can afford to get some different ones. I've got lights for the time being where once we get everything together, we can actually drive the car maybe. You gonna drive it, Ben?
Yeah. I'll whip it around.
It's a stick shift.
I'll figure it out.
Oh, you will. You'll figure it out. Stick shift's fun. So I got the bumper and the light bar and all that stuff installed on the car and the fog lights on there. I went ahead and plugged them in and was just checking to see, you know, if they'd work. That light over there came on, but this one wasn't coming on. So I got my tester out and I was checking the plug, and I had power to the plug, but it was like sketchy. You know, like when I touched the plug at first, it wouldn't do it, and then it would kind of flicker, and sometimes I would get it and sometimes I wouldn't. And then next thing you know, I don't know if you can see in there, one of the blades like snapped off. I'm gonna have to replace that plug. I ran to AutoZone and I found this 2-wire waterproof plug I'm going to use. I think it's a 14 gauge. Hopefully it says it's good for 30 amps. I don't know how many amps one of these fog lights pulls. So we'll find out if it starts smoking or not. But I'm about to go ahead and swap that out and see if I can get these fog lights to kick on. I got the plug replaced. I'm going to go ahead and tidy up the end of that harness and then move on from there. All right, I replaced that plug. Look, I got a fog light. My fog lights are working. Hey, it's the little things, right? What we're about to do now, we're about to tackle that little box of lights over there, and we're going to get the rest of our lights set up in our grill and get another step closer to getting headlights and turn signals and, you know, all the stuff, all the things. We're going to drive this car one day. I swear it.
Man, me and Ben have been working hard on the Mustang. We've got a bunch of stuff done. We didn't necessarily film all of it, but we want to show you what we've been working on. What'd you just do?
Whatever those lights are.
Whatever those lights are. You mean for the license plate? Mm-hmm. All right, let's go look at it. You put them in?
Yep.
Man, we got license plate lights. What else we do? We worked on the tail lights. There were some of these little bolts that bolt these in. They weren't bolted in at all, but some of the screws were like studs were pulled out. So we had to epoxy those back in, and we just got through getting the tail lights all tightened up. Heck yeah. But what about all that work we did on the front of the car?
Whole lot.
Whole lot of work on the front of the car. Let's go look at that. Look at that. It got a hood on it. It ain't lined up and working yet, but it's got a hood on it. Look at that, y'all. Look at that. The front of the car. And the lights all work. How cool is that? Man, it worked out good too, where I fixed that header panel. Man, this thing is just as solid as a rock, man. I tell you what. I'll tell you what. Now, I'll tell you what. Let me tell you what. I'm going to tell you what.
Yeah, you would.
What?
Why?
Nah, but for real though. Super proud. Super proud of what we got accomplished. Turn on them fog lights. Oh, look at them fog lights. I got to put my dash back together. I took my dash kind of apart. We had to almost take it all the way out to get some. There's a reinforcement bar underneath there that I had to install, and but we got to get the dash all put back together. Whew. 19 degrees. All right, y'all, we got a snow day, and trying to warm up the garage. It's cold. God, 19 degrees. That's cold. I got in a groove, man. Me and the boys started working. I didn't take the time to film all the little tedious stuff I've been doing, so I'm just going to walk you around and kind of show it to you. The cover riveted onto the header panel. Everything's bolted down, installed, and man, it is on there. So my epoxy hack did what it was supposed to. I'm pretty tickled with that. This fender right here, man, she is rough. She's kind of dented. You can feel it right there. I don't know. She's had a bad times at some point. Oh yeah, before I installed the fender, it's way up in there. You can't see it. The reservoir, you see that little ball? Got that installed, and boop, that thing right there. That's like a charcoal filter. It was kind of part of the smog thing, but the way I've got it, I've just got the vent tube from the gas tank kind of hooked into it. So it's just kind of sitting there like a charcoal filter, I think. So the other day, me and Ben, we went ahead and mounted the latch system on the front and run the cable. This cable, man, you barely got enough. I had to kind of run it out. I was hoping to just run it this way, but it was like I had to kind of cut the corner a little bit in order to make it over there. I just laid this up here just for the sake of looking at it. As you can see, we've got the hood installed, and I kind of installed the little rod right there. I don't know. I'm considering maybe getting one of those little kits, strut kits or whatever, and get rid of the rod. What do y'all think? Have y'all ever done a strut kit? LMR's got them for like $135 or something like that. A little strut kit that you install, and you don't have to have the prop rod anymore. It's hydraulic or pneumatic or no. It holds it up. And this is one of them aftermarket fiberglass hoods or whatever. The way it's latching or whatever, I don't trust it a lot. I think I may end up going and getting some of those pins, little hood pin set. Might be a good idea. And it doesn't line up just perfect. And it's hard to get the latch. I've only got it to latch one time. Here, let's just see if it'll do it. All right, let's see. Oh, it did latch then. But that's a lot of work to get it to latch. I don't know. For one, you talk about tight. It's coming all the way down right there. Super tight on the light. That part's not bad. You know, it's pretty even there. And I guess that groove right there is not bad. But then you come over to this side and it's down even tighter on the light. And it's definitely not even with the fender. You know, I got a fender right there. And I've turned my little screw thing up some, but you just saw how hard I've got to push it to get it to latch. So it's just bowing that fiberglass down, because you can see it bow at this point. This is the last rubber bumper. So from there down, it's just kind of flexing as I push it to close. But look, I got lights. So these lights, for whatever, you know, it's got this other little opening, like you could stick another little bulb in there, but you know, there's not a bulb for there. You'd have to like add it. So I don't know if any of y'all ever added a bulb there. Is there a easy way to do it? Does it add much? Curious minds want to know. All right, what else did we do? Oh yeah, since we had the nose cap on and we had to deal with getting all this fastened, you know, so all that's fastened up, we went ahead and got that out of the attic and got that installed. This side, I've already done all the fastening. This side I've snapped into place, but I haven't gone underneath and installed all the fasteners and everything. That's probably what I'm going to be doing here soon, is going ahead and finishing that up. James Walker installed the new antennae. So we got an antenna and, you know, got the new grommet and got all that kind of run into the car. Installed new door handles on both sides, and that rubber boot that goes between the door and the car frame. Working on installing this run channel, this new rubber run channel, and I've got around to over here, and now I'm struggling because this thing goes down inside the door. It goes down inside the door and kind of runs inside this. This is like a little channel here, and with the window in place right there, I'm just struggling trying to get that in place. I think I'm going to undo this little bolt, and I think that's going to let that kind of move over, and I'm hoping to be able to get it down in there after I do that and then just put it back. We installed this new piece here. I was waiting on this because I was thinking, oh, I'm going to paint the car. I'm tired of waiting on driving this car. It's been 2 years, and I'm going ahead, I'm going to put it together, and we're going to drive the thing for a little bit. If I get enough money together or figure out how to paint it, we'll cross that road then. I'll either take these back off or tape them off or something. But for now, we're putting our car together. I also installed these new little pieces right here. I can't remember. I messed up a little bit right here. It kind of got in a bind on the pinch weld and didn't go up, and kind of put a little wave in it right there. I was pretty disappointed I did that, but there's only been one perfect man walk this earth, so and I am, you know, I'm full of mistakes. She's coming together. I mean, look at it. It's a big difference. This mirror was loose, so I pulled it off the car so I could figure out I was missing one of my nuts. I've only got one nut. I'm supposed to have two. So I need to get another pair. Get a pair, grow a pair. Driver's side. Probably got something going on over here too. I may be missing some hardware. This right here made such a big difference, you know, covering up that ugly pinch weld and that new metal right there. I still got to do my run channel here, and then whatever the little rubber blades are that go on the bottom, and there's another trim piece that goes right here. I can't remember what it's all called. But then that'll have the outside of the door pretty much, put together. So we went ahead, we got all this stuff fastened back up, and we got the bumper cover all attached to the back of the car because it was kind of missing some hardware too, but we got that all attached up. We could go under the car. Y'all want to go under the car with me? We'll go under the car, and then I may turn y'all off for a little while and turn this heater back on while I work on some stuff. That insulation right there and the weather stripping that I did around the outside, huge difference. But it still don't take long when it's 19 degrees on the other side of that door. It gets cold in here pretty fast. Fat man on a little creeper. And then, oh my goodness. All right, we're going in. All right, let's see what we got going on here. All right. So on the transmission, I had noticed I had developed like some little droplets kind of here. And so we proceeded to kind of continuously, we would come underneath here, we would look and see the droplets were still coming. And then we would start inspecting up around, anywhere around the seam and the bolts and stuff, and we'd wipe it down real good each time. That way when we come back, we could kind of see if we noticed, maybe where it looked like it was leaking from. So Ben had decided that he thought it was leaking around some of the screws. So I got underneath here and I just took the screws out one by one, and I got kind of wild with the black RTV on the threads and the heads of the screws and put them all back in, torqued them all down. And so far, everything seems to be staying dry. Now, because of me being a carpenter in a past life, for whatever reason, I ended up kind of going around the seam and trying to like spackle in some RTV right on the seam in case, if it had a little seep that was coming through. I don't know if that would even stop it, or if it probably won't for long, once you drive it, but we'll see nonetheless. So we addressed that leak. Moving right along. So I kept getting a drip. So I tightened that up. I thought at first all my drain plug just didn't get tight, but it is tight, and it's got a new washer on it. So that shouldn't be it. Same thing we did on the transmission. I just kept coming back and wiping it down and just trying to see if I could see anything. And I started thinking that up here, you see that right there? There's actually an low oil sensor that you can screw in right there, but the oil pan itself just kind of has like a dipstick, like you'd see in a lawnmower or something almost, that's screwed in right there. So it seemed to be that was kind of seeping. There was getting some little drips of oil. I don't know if it was coming from around the dipstick or if it was coming to where this metal insert it's just kind of riveted to a hole on the outside of the pan with a gasket. And I decided that gasket itself was kind of leaking, but nonetheless, I got crazy with the black RTV again, and I just RTV'd the dickens out of all around the plug, or the little screw-in plug, and around the seam. I kind of scraped back some of the gasket that was protruding and got a surface that I could just kind of spackle that silicone against. And so far so good. We're dry. So that's 2 more leaks taken care of, I hope. Knock on wood. I got wood right here. Look at there. So what do y'all think about that? We got our coolant leak fixed with the water pump, hopefully. We got our transmission leak fixed, hopefully. Our little oil pan leak that we had taken care of. Last thing we got is this power steering. Well, what do y'all think? Man, it's kind of come together. Once I get all this kind of stuff buttoned up around the outside, we're going to really kind of start working on the interior more. I want to get a new windshield. That windshield's got some defects in it, some past repairs on there that are kind of obvious. I don't know what else. It's just so much still to do. But we're getting a little bit closer, all the time. Every time we come out here and we work on things a little bit, we get another little step closer. I think once we get the car drivable, I think we're probably going to be even more inspired to work on it. I think. I don't know. It's been fun sharing all this with y'all. We're gonna keep plugging away. Biggest thing that holds me up is money. You know, being able to buy parts when I run across it. Because man, every time I turn around, I'm needing something. So that's probably everybody. That's probably everybody's project. The money and time are the limiting factors for sure. I'm gonna go and fire this heater back up and see if I can't get some of this stuff done, get a little work done. Well, I got a snow day. I mean, I got a day off work. Might as well take advantage of it, right? My snow day is over and done. I got a bunch done. I'm pretty happy with what I got going on here. Got that other ground effect all screwed up there. I got my mirrors put back on. I got my run channel all in. I got this the weather strip, the door belt or whatever they call that. And then the cover. I tell you what, this stuff right here, man, that makes a big difference as far as the looks. All these just little pieces that I've just put on. And the door, whenever you shut it, it makes that cool, like nicely shutting door noise. We got this side all done, all the run channel, all the trim pieces, the mirror on. Check that out. Got the dash all back in there. I got all the steering column covers on, the little panels at the bottom, the fuse thing. I don't have a whole mess of wires hanging down here by the pedals anymore. Heck yeah. Check out my dash. I like it. I want to get a new windshield, and I've got the new trim to go around that. Then we can bolt this down. I still got to get a windshield wiper motor for my windshield wipers. Well, hey, I appreciate y'all coming and checking out the Mustang, getting an update on it, seeing where we're at on it. If y'all got any suggestions or ideas, by all means, share them. If you're curious about the Mustang, you want to see some more stuff we've done, there's a whole big, huge playlist of other videos. But this video, I believe, is over. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time. Peace.